Hello, everyone. My name is Danny. This review is for the movie called Let Him Go. This is a 2020 film. It was just released in theaters here November 6th, and it is rated R. It runs a little under 2 hours, and it stars Diane Lane, Kevin Costner, and Leslie Manville. The description: a retired sheriff and his wife, grieving over the death of their son, set out to find their only grandson. This does only have 400 grades on IMDb, but it's still early. It was just released in theaters. It has two big, well-known names, so I'm sure it'll get more viewed and more watched and more graded as time goes by, being a more popular, more released, newly released movie. But do put it on your list. Make sure you're going out because 400 is not that many for a new release in theaters. So make sure you're giving this one a watch. Put it on your list. This is Let Him Go. Well, thank you for watching this video. If you'd like any correspondence with me outside of YouTube, I do have my Facebook page. It's called Danny's Movies and Music. If you'd like to check that out, there's lots of bonus content on there. So if you'd like to check that out, I appreciate it. This movie, I was very happy to go see in theaters. I haven't been to the theater for a couple weeks, and I've been trying to go at least once, see one movie. So this was one of two movies to come out this last weekend, and the other one was a sequel of a movie I've never heard of. Probably you haven't either. So I might give those two movies a watch. I think it's called True to the Game, and True to the Game 2 just came out. But I wanted to go see Let Him Go for sure, so I'm glad I saw it in theater. There's about 30 or 40 people in my theater, so in the town that I went to go see a movie, there are people going to the movie. Not that many, but 40 is a lot for any given movie slot time. So the reason why I like going to theaters to see the new releases is because I like to see people's reactions to things. I like to see if they're shocked by something that happens, violence wise, or if they're affected emotionally by some things, or if they're laughing at the cute things. And I will say that this movie plays up the right things in the first 3/4 of the movie, because they have this little kid. It's their grandson, and he's a baby, and he's cute, and it plays up all the cute things with him. Blowing on the stomach, tickling the feet, playing helicopter, whatever else you want to do. And so I think most people were at least had their attention grabbed by the first half of this movie, with the grandson being a baby. He's very cute. Even as he gets a little older, he's still cute. And he'll wave, goodbye and stuff like that. So, regardless of the acting or the effectiveness of the movie, the grandson is really, the prize bull here. And I think it's what grabs your attention and what makes you feel affected emotionally. The first thing that happens, I guess, it says in the description, is that we have a death by these two people's son. And the way the death is handled is kind of like underwhelming, and it just kind of happens, and Kevin Costner goes to find his son just kind of laying by the riverside or by the lakeside, and it's just like, oh, okay, he's dead, and that was it. So I did not like how they handled that. I'll just generalize Kevin Costner. I didn't like his character and his acting in this movie at all. He was like one of the weakest points. Diane Lane, when it comes to her, I think she talks too much in this movie, but I know it's necessary. I know she's playing a character, but I just felt like she was talking too much. There was one scene in particular that still bugs me while I'm talking here, and that's when she's in this truck with this kind of stranger, and she goes, he says that her husband is following pretty close or something, And she's like, oh, well, you're checking the mirror enough to know that. Like, that's just not what normal people say. And, like, if a normal person were in that situation, they'd just be like, oh, uh-huh, yeah, you know. We just kind of play it off. We'd be polite. And I just felt like Diane Lane, being Diane Lane, felt like she had to talk all the time to make things effective, maybe make a quiet movie a little bit more interesting. And I appreciate her um, attempt. I admire her attempt and energy on that stage, but I just felt like it was out of place and it was just too much by her. She was just talking all the time. So then we get to the actual story, and I've seen this a million times. I could probably name you 10 movies right now with the situation of home burglary or having someone come into your home, where there's a showdown at the end. Maybe people defending their property or land or home or something from even a loved one or a cheating spouse or something. There's just we've seen this element many, many times. And so this is a mild story, a mild movie by all regards. And I was thinking that the whole time because I'm like, we know what happens at the end. We all know what happens. And this movie goes way too dramatic for any movie I've seen like this before. Most movies I've seen like this before actually have somewhat of a story going on in the first hour and a half. It's not just nothing, 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 oh, the ending. And that's what this movie is. And so I at least admire movies before this to have some kind of story, some kind of something going on, or some other twist with two other characters that also emerges at the end. Like, you gotta have something other than just the showdown at the end. But that's really all this movie is people being way too over dramatic with their lines. Everything we saw in the previews is what's in the movie. There's really no other big surprises. And the showdown at the end, this movie's rated R. I don't think it needs to be rated R. There's hardly enough to affirm an R rating in this. I've seen so much worse stuff and PG-13 movies, and it's like we're numb to it. So what's so bad about Let Him Go that it needs to be R? I don't, other than language, I guess. But so the word of the day is mild. This is a mild movie. You don't need to get hyped for it. I don't know why it has such a high rating on online, and I don't know why people are saying this is like a masterpiece of any kind. Good acting can only get you so far, and I honestly don't think our two main characters really fit into their acting characters. We have some useless characters along the way. We have some useless storylines, and like I said, it goes an hour and a half, showdown. That's not a great movie. So I'm going to give a C to Let Him Go. I think it's very middle of the range, middle of the road, very mild, and I hope you don't rush to go see it, but I do hope you watch it for it being a new movie and something to watch. So a C for Let Him Go. Thanks a lot, guys. My name is Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and get something to watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. Enjoy movies. Thanks.